everyone, it's Giselle, and today I will be doing a Catwoman inspired makeup tutorial. Now I know this isn't your everyday look, but I was feeling super inspired by Catwoman. 2 weeks ago it was Comic-Con in San Diego. This last week the new Batman movie came out, The Dark Knight Rises. They brought Catwoman back, and if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Giselle, you've seen that I have been obsessed with cat eyes this whole week, so I just decided to go all out and do a Catwoman themed makeup tutorial. Now, even if you don't plan on dressing up, don't be afraid. You might enjoy some of the products that I'm using, or you can also modify the application process for your night out or your special occasions. First up, I'm using my Neutrogena 3-in-1 concealer for eyes. I'm fresh out of primer, but this product is a great substitute, and it also does a really good job at covering up my under eye circles. I'll grab my Urban Decay Naked 2 eyeshadow palette and start off by using Blackout. I'll wedge the eyeshadow brush deeply into the crease as if to outline my eyelid, and then I'll gradually work my way outwards to create my base contour. I'll use the arches in my brows as a guideline to shape the contour. Next, I'll grab Pistol. I'll apply the darkest coats from the center of my eyelid to the outer crease, and then I'll gradually work my way in to start blending everything together. Then I'll load up with Verve and use it to open up my inner lid by blending outwards. Then I'll soften everything up by outlining the outer contours. Next, I'll grab YDK with the fluffy end of my brush and dust it down the center of my lid and around the outer crease for added dimension. Before moving on, I'll put on my foundation. I'm using MAC Studio Fix Fluid for total coverage, and I'm buffing it into my skin with Sephora's contour brush to carefully maneuver around my eyeshadow. Then I'll grab my Makeup Forever Full Cover Concealer in a shade that's just a little too light for me. I know I've already applied concealer, but I'm going to brush on just a little bit more underneath my lashes to eventually emphasize my cat eyes. And as with every look, I always finish my highlighting by brushing on my very favorite MAC Studio Fix Matte Powder in C3. Here comes the tricky part. I'll use my Sephora liquid liner to create a line that extends in the direction from my outer lash line to the tip of my brow, and I'll stop directly between the two. I'll use the tip of that new line and connect it to the point directly above my pupil. This part definitely takes a lot of practice, but don't worry, you'll get there. Once I've got the shape of my wing, I'll fill it in and touch up the very outer corner. You want it to be super pointy. And then I'll go ahead and line the rest of my eyelid. For added drama, I also brought my liner inward by painting a line that extended in the direction of my upper lash line to the point just below where my brow begins. I then connected this line to my tear ducts and proceeded to paint my lower lash line. We're halfway there. Now I'm using my Covergirl Perfect Liner to fill in my waterline, and I'm grabbing my liquid to fill in my lower liner. Then I'll smoke it up with Busted and Blackout using my Sephora smudge brush. Using Busted once more, I'll add a little wing to my outer crease. Final touches! I'm using Sephora's glitter liner along the top of my inner liner and just along the bottom of the outer wings. I had some lashes lying around, so I figured, why not? I grabbed my eyelash curler for a quick pump and applied MAC's number 44 to the outer edges of my eyelids. I'll wait for those to dry and pick up with contouring. I'm using my MAC 138 brush and applying Bare Essentials and Warmth. Now, Catwoman is fierce, so I'm especially contouring underneath my cheekbones, a little around my hairline, and just along my nose for that cat look. I'm using a bold fuchsia blush, YSL's Blush Radiance in number 5. Then I'm prepping for red lips by sponging on MAC Studio Fix to pick up excess moisture and to make the color pop. I'm lining with Quartz by MAC, filling it in with MAC Pro Longwear Lip Cream in Extended Play, and adding Sassy Shine with MAC Plushglass in Full For You. Clean up the outer edges using my favorite MAC Studio Fix Matte Powder. And last but not least, mascara. I'm using Maybelline's Colossal Volume and making sure to separate and elongate every single lash, especially on the bottom, and then of course on the top, adding a little extra curl and volume by pushing and rolling on my lashes. And there you have it, Catwoman-inspired makeup. Now time to take on the world.